What's up, my veggies? My name is VTR, and welcome back to the movie review. And today we're going to be reviewing Fear Street Part 3. So before we get started, let's actually go read our synopsis real fast. The origins of Sarah Fear's curse are finally revealed as history comes full circle on a night that changes the lives of Shady Siders forever. That's really all I need to say without giving a bunch of spoilers out. Let's go ahead and talk about the movie and what I thought about it. So this movie is actually broken into two segments. Um, First half is in the 1600s, and then the second half jumps back to the 90s to wrap out our story. Let's talk about let's talk about the 1600s first. First things first, I think they did a really good job at making this movie look like it takes place in the time period. The costume design, the costumes, and everything are really good. And I think the actors do a pretty decent job. One thing I'm not a big fan of is kind of how the dialogue is like. It sounds like it's trying to sound modern, but also fit the time as well, which was a kind of a jarring thing for me. I was not the biggest fan of that. One thing I really was a big fan of in this movie, though, was the score. I think the score in this movie is probably the best of the three. I don't know. It's just it is. It just made me notice it more. I really think it was used very well in a lot of the scenes. And the interesting twists we learn in this movie is actually a lot of fun. Not fun. It's very interesting, and I can't say if it's predictable or not, but it's definitely interesting the way they go about it. And then we can also jump to the 90s portion of the movie, back to the the present for this franchise. Um, um, this movie was super. It kind of comes full circle with their characters learning everything that's gone on and their plan to stop it and everything. I will say one thing: this movie kind of redeems the character at the beginning of the main character. I forgot her name, but it redeems her. I did not really like her that much in the first movie. Um, and I think they did a good job with her here. Overall, though, I think this movie was a probably maybe the best in the franchise. I think probably the best one of the three. Um, some of the effects in this, like there's a scene where, because in the last movie, you know that Sarah Fierce's hand was chopped off or was removed or whatever. You get to see that here, and it is brutal. I'm like, oh, it is brutal, and I think the effects there looked really good. Um, some interesting CG with like this blob thingy. I don't want to give away too much on that. I don't remember if it was in the other movies. But really interesting looking CG there. I don't want to say it looks bad because it's interesting. That's really all I gotta say about that. Like I said, um they really do a good job of tying up the series all, and I guess that really is like a testament to like how all three of these movies were made around the same time and then released literally just like a couple weeks apart. Um, but I think the movie overall did a really good job. I think the movie, with it being a conclusion to the series, I don't think it's gonna go down in any history as like the greatest horror movie of all time. No, definitely not. But I think this movie overall does what it needs to do to wrap up this franchise and brings pretty much every character we've seen full circle, and it does a good job at that. I think the movie does a good job at tying up the loose ends and everything. If I had any criticism, I think that maybe the final confrontation, not the final confrontation, but like there's the scene at the mall at the end where it's that I'm kind of like, okay, kind of There's some, but I can say there's actually some funny writing here in the movie. I think there's some actual, uh, in the later scenes. I think they're in the back when we're in the present, or the '90s or whatever. There is some clever writing there, and some funny scenes, and there's some heart here too with the brother and sister. They do a good job with more of their dynamic, I think, and learning the twist. Like the twist, I think in here is really nice. Um, I think if you look back at some of the other stuff in other movies, you could probably draw, maybe pick up on some clues and everything, the twist. But I still think it's a good, decent twist, especially in this film. I think the twist is actually done relatively well. I think this movie is a good time. I think it is fun. I think it is. I think it has some good practical effects, and some decent CG effects too. Uh, I think I think overall the story is wrapped up very nicely. Um, and I think that they did a good job with this film. I think it is overall a fun time. I don't really have much else to say about the movie. I don't think I'm gonna be able to stretch this review to 10 minutes. So I won't even attempt to do that. But before we get to the wrapping up the review, let's go ahead and talk about the Rotten Tomatoes score, which critics give this movie a 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, and audiences give it a 76. Which I don't remember what the other ones were, what the audience gave the other two films. But overall, I do think, sorry, my mind just blanked. Sorry about that. I do think the movie did a good job on everything it set out to do to wrap up the story, these characters, their storylines, and all that. What is my rating? Um, you know what? I'll give it a solid 3 out of 5. I think that is a good, strong point to put this movie at. I think it is a good time. And I think that's a good place to put it, I think. Also, my rating system is kind of all over the place. Like, I don't even know how it works anymore at this point. If threes are good, threes are bad, I don't know at this point, but I use them how I feel like they need to be used. So, yeah. So all I gotta have this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.